Your name is Marco Rubio. What are you talking about? It just doesn't fucking make any sense. Like, at least like in Germany, you're presenting this folk, okay? This like superior Aryan master race narrative, because there's not a lot of travel, okay? Not a lot of migration and things like that happening to the same degree that it happened. Oh yeah, he got Erdogan went on Fox News and was like Duncan saying crazy stuff. Out of the goat. We'll get to that, but let's hear what Marco Rubio has to say about Palestine.
So, Mr. Secretary, we were hoping that you can give us a preview. Apparently, the president wants his famous message of peace through strength today at the UN. What do you anticipate him saying?
Well, I think one of the things the president's going to have to address and is going to address is the UN itself. And that is, why do we still have a UN? It has tremendous potential. The UN is an organization that has the potential to do some great things around the world, but it's not doing it. If you look at Russia and Ukraine, you have a war going on there. It's the president that's been carrying the burden of trying to bring it to an end. The UN is playing no role. If you look at what's happening in Gaza with Hamas and everything that's happened there with Israel taking them on, what role is the UN playing? None. We're going to try here, and even as close to home in the Western Hemisphere, in a place like Haiti, that's been overrun by gangs that control that country and has destabilized the region. The U.S. is asking for the UN to step up and play a very important role. We have a lot of support, but it looks like China might stand in the way of this effort to bring that about. The UN will play no role if they do that. So I think what the president's going to do is challenge the UN to find its meaning and its purpose and its utility as an organization, because it doesn't seem to be doing the job, and it's pretty good at spending a lot of money. I think you can anticipate the president will point to his own history with the UN, going back to his time here as a developer, where he actually offered to fix the UN building, and instead they chose to go in another direction, wasted a bunch of money, and really didn't achieve on the building's perspective what needed to happen. And I think it's emblematic of how feckless the UN has become as an organization. It's just a place where once a year a bunch of people meet and give speeches and write out a bunch of letters and statements, but not a lot of good, important action is happening. So again, the UN has a lot of potential, but it's not living up to it right now.
So the Turkish leader Erdogan sat down with Brett Baer yesterday. We got two topics to talk to you about that, one of which was asked about the war in Russia. He's basically, he's indifferent, likes both guys, and in Gaza. But he seems to take a shot at President Trump. Listen.
He just straight up said, I don't believe Hamas is a terrorist group. It's a resistance group, which, once again, in spite of his allegiance to Israel, out of the goat is back on top. This is what the watermelon salesman does, okay? And he does it very well.
I can only say this. Mr. Trump, you might remember he used a term when he said, I will finish the Russia-Ukraine war. Did it end? It still goes on. Similarly, he said, I will finish the war in Gaza. Did it end? No. That means once we start analyzing the issue, there are prices to pay. And when we look at the hostage exchange, that was done. It goes on.
So he says the president doesn't get it done. This is a NATO ally. Your thoughts?
Well, look, I didn't hear the entirety of the interview. I can only tell you that on both of those issues, on the case of Russia, Ukraine, the only leader in the world that has any chance of bringing it to an end is President Trump, which is why he has put more time and energy into it than anybody else. All of these other countries, including Turkey, by the way, are begging us to be involved. They want us to be involved. Look, these people go out and say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, when they want something done, they want to come to the White House. President Erdogan is coming to the White House this week to meet with the president. They all come to the White House. They all want to speak to President Trump. They all want President Trump to fix it. So they can say whatever they want to say. The truth of the matter is that we have leaders, we have meetings going on today that we have leaders begging to be.
Bro, you're America. Yeah, no shit, dude. Oh my God, I can't believe that Turkey is begging for an audience with the president of America. You're not Estonia, little bro. You are not Lithuania. You are the United States of America. No shit. It's so stupid that these guys are like, whoa, they're still coming. They're talking big shit, but they're still here. It's like, yeah, no shit, man. Don't yell. He can already hear you. True. I should probably moderate my voice. I'm probably hurting his Dumbo ears right now.
Be a part of it. They are calling, saying, can we be included? Can you bring us in? Can you get me 5 minutes to shake the president's hand? He is the indispensable leader in the world right now. He is the only one who has any chance.
Wow, I can't believe it. America is the indispensable leader of the world. Wow. Wow, thank you, man. I had no clue how that, like, whoa, dude, the thing I don't understand about this is, like, if you're there, if you're that, okay, then you don't have to say these things. This is what a weak and embarrassed nation does. And I sometimes feel like they're aware of something that I am not. The way he's talking about it is like, it almost feels like he's trying to convince himself. It's like, yeah, we know, man. We know how this is. Okay. We know how this goes, but you're not acting like it. That's the problem.
Of not just brokering a deal to end the war with Russia and Ukraine, but also bringing about the war that's going and getting all the hostages released in Gaza. And I think he's put more time and energy into peace proposals and peace initiatives than anybody else in the world. And he's had the most success of anybody else in the world. He doesn't get a lot of credit, but let's not forget the DRC and Rwanda had a war going on. It's the president that's brokered that. Azerbaijan and Armenia. It's the president that brought that about. Thailand and Cambodia. Right. It's the president that brought that end of that about. India and Pakistan. That's just 4 right off the top of my head in the last few months. And the president's the one that did that, not any other leader in the world, and not the UN.
Mr. Secretary, Fox is exclusively reporting that Hamas wrote a letter directly to President Trump asking for a pause in fighting for 60 days in exchange for half of the hostages. Do you know if this letter has been delivered yet? And will the president entertain this idea?
I don't know who they gave that letter to. It wouldn't have mattered, though, because the president's been clear, and that is that we haven't seen the letter. We don't have that letter. And even if we did, it wouldn't matter. The president has already made clear he's not interested in 60 days, 10 people. He wants all the hostages out, all 48, including the 20 who are alive.
Yeah, it almost feels like there is a way to do that. And both the Biden administration and the Trump administration actually put that as a plan. And then Israel made it impossible. Israel ruined it.
28 who are deceased. He wants them all. There should have never been any. Why are we even talking about hostages? Why do we still have to talk about hostages at this point? There shouldn't be any. They should all be released immediately, period. That's the president's position. So he would have rejected that offer had it come, but we haven't seen that letter. I think they gave it to the media or somebody, but they haven't given it to us.
Mr. Secretary, the president said the final warning to Hamas. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, you've got Israel is right at the doorstep of Gaza City. I mean, they've begun an operation to go in. And all of the leaders of Hamas, all of the main leaders inside of Gaza and Hamas are all concentrated in Gaza City. It may take a while, but they're not going to survive the Israeli push. Now, what we would hope to see is that it doesn't have to happen because Hamas surrenders, they lay down.
Rubio's below speech targeting Erdogan, saying Turkey's begging Trump to end the war in Gaza has gone viral in Turkey, treated as an insult against Erdogan. The begging part, I'm gonna keep it $1.50. Ragab is a little bit of a Erdogan crony, okay? I am not so certain that the Turkish population is as in love with Erdogan. Wow, the Turks are really mad that America is belittling Turkey. Like, what the? No, man. The Turks are mad that everything is unimaginably. Erdogan is literally still popular in Turkey. This is the least popular Erdogan has been in Turkey since he rose to power. Get the fuck out of here. This doesn't mean that there aren't dick riders still. It's just the hostages are all likely dead because of Israel's doing, but Hamas knows if they release the hostages and Israel will figuratively nuke Gaza. For fuck's sake, read my other message first. We just saw nuke Gaza and Chatters understandably responded to that and thought that you were being the classic Israel dick rider.
down their arms, they release all the hostages, and then the important work of sort of rebuilding Gaza and providing a place where Palestinians can live prosperously and peacefully. That work can begin, but that work can't begin until the hostages are released and Hamas no longer exists. And so the sooner that happens, the sooner peace will begin.
I want to make sure to get this in because I know your time is tight. You were brilliant, as in so many speakers, saluting the life of Charlie Kirk. Here's a little of the moments a lot of people are talking about. Watch.
Because he took on that death, because he carried that cross, we were freed from the sin that separated us from him. And when he returns, there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and we will all be together, and we are going to have a great reunion there again with Charlie and all the people we love.
It looks like that was coming from the heart, not the prompter. Can you bring us back to that moment?
Well, look, Charlie, I think what makes this situation so unique is that Charlie Kirk wasn't just a figure involved in American politics and a political discourse. Charlie was a friend to a lot of people in the White House and a lot of people in this administration, like on a personal level. He's someone that I had just been interacting with just a few days before he died, because he was in South Korea and was eager to come back home and tell me what he had seen while he was there. And a lot of other people, the vice president was very close to him personally, a lot of members of the staff. So I think it adds a new element to this. Obviously, this is a major story, a horrific tragedy, and before everyone in the age of social media, everyone saw it instantly. And so I think it impacted people across the country, but I think it had a particularly special impact in addition to all of that because of the personal connection here. And I thought that on Sunday was a very unique opportunity for many of us, not just to pay tribute to the life that Charlie Kirk lived, but the way he lived it and the core of his message. And his faith was at the core of his message. I think Charlie, if he was able to would here to say that politics is important, what we do in government is important, these debates on issues are important, but the most important thing of all is our faith and our...
Yeah, I saw another net favorability poll that came out. Democrats minus 60%, independents minus 11%, GOP plus 69%. Charlie Kirk has finally arrived at a +1 net favorability with unlimited amounts of vague gesturing towards his activism from liberal media. People still don't give a fuck. And part of the reason why is because they also hate Donald Trump. People hate Donald Trump. Make no mistake. You don't get to see how much people hate Donald Trump in mainstream news because they actively normalize his behavior for some weird reason. And obviously it's just all glaze on Fox News and whatnot. But people don't like Donald Trump, okay? Americans broadly dislike him for understandable reasons. He's an egomaniacal, narcissistic piece of shit who is openly corrupt. So obviously one of his main vehicles for propaganda is also not going to be a beloved figure, no matter how hard these guys try to present it as such. Okay? Oh, that's it. That's it. This is just like so stupid that people are like, no, you don't understand, dude. This is a deity, a beacon, a shining light of politics in this country.
Family and that and Charlie lived that, and he believed it, and it was at the core of his message. He had an extraordinary amount of wisdom for a 31-year-old young man. He really did. I mean, it usually takes a lifetime to acquire the kind of wisdom that he had.
And the president did a beautiful job speaking there, and so did his wife. The president, what is his reaction? What's the administration's reaction about our allies? We have France, we have the UK, we have Australia and Canada recognizing the Palestinian state. What does that say about our influence?
Well, these countries are doing it, frankly, because of domestic political pressure in their own countries. You know, because of migration policies, their countries have been flooded with foreigners who have become politically active and are insisting that their governments do these sorts of things. And so that's what they're responding to. But look, it's irrelevant. It's going to get a little bit of attention, but there is no Palestinian state. You can put all the, it's kind of emblematic of what the president says about the UN. You can put out all the paper in the world you want. The only way there's ever going to be a permanent solution to this challenge between Palestinians and Israelis is a negotiated settlement.
Dude, American fascism is so strange. Because, like, previous iterations of fascism did not exist in such a multicultural world that American fascism one-shots me every time I hear a Cuban motherfucker talk about, like, the enemy, the danger of foreigners. Dog, what the fuck are you? Your name is Marco Rubio. What are you talking about? It just doesn't fucking make any sense. Like, at least, like, in Germany, you're presenting this folk, okay? This, like, superior Aryan master race narrative, because there's not a lot of travel, okay? Not a lot of migration and things like that happening to the same degree that it happened in the United States of America. This is the most multicultural, most diverse place on the planet, dude. I don't get how these guys who are also literally not like 2 generations removed from living somewhere else, turning around and being like, yeah, you know what we got to do? We got to fuck over these people, man. These goddamn foreigners. Get them out. It doesn't make no sense. It didn't make sense when the Nazis were doing it, when the Italians were doing it, when Franco was doing it, but it makes extra less sense when an American is doing it. And like some of the primary speakers of this movement are Hispanic. Who cares if he's Cuban? He's white as Pestany. It doesn't fucking matter, dog. I know whiteness is a socio-political construct, but ultimately, I mean, I'm white too. What are you talking about? Look at how fucking pasty I am. It doesn't matter. This is a group that can tighten. The whiteness is a socio-political construct, and it has expanded, except it can also contract. It can get smaller.
In which the Palestinians are going to have a territory and they're going to govern it, but it cannot be one that's going to be used as a launch pad for attacks against Israel. And that's something that has to be negotiated with Israel. It isn't going to exist without Israel's participation. That's what these leaders should have spent their time working on, ending this war, eliminating Hamas, so you can get to that stage of talks about that topic. But for them, and for some of them in particular, more than others, it's sort of a vanity project that's trying to make themselves relevant. But here's the bottom line, and here's the truth. Okay, when it comes to actually getting peace done, when it comes to actually stopping this, they're not going to any of these other countries.
Of course.
They're coming to us, they're going to President Trump, and they're asking him to get involved and bring it to an end. You just asked me about a letter to from Hamas. Hamas didn't send a letter to France. Hamas didn't send a letter to any of these countries on your list.
Yeah, I wonder why. Because the primary belligerent here is the United States of America, and they're aware of that. But again, Israel in its existence offers America plausible deniability. Oh, it's just, it's them doing it, and they're doing it autonomously. They're doing this because they're a sovereign nation. Also, God forbid we fucking restrict them in any capacity. Is he playing dumb or actually dumb? No, these guys aren't that stupid. They all fucking know what's good. They all know exactly what's going on. They know exactly what's happening. Come on. They know who holds the cards here. They just don't give a shit. They don't care.
Hamas apparently, supposedly, sent a letter to President Trump because everyone knows, even
this is him playing to the domestic audience about the importance of Donald Trump. And it's like, yeah, no shit, dude. Why don't you do something about it, dumbass? That's the point. Anyway, what do young Israelis and Palestinians think about the two-state solution? There's that too. But here's Erdogan.
So
does anyone have the Erdogan Brett Baer interview where he just straight up says like Hamas is a resistance group, it's not a terrorist group?
How does this come to an end? Much like Russia-Ukraine,
and I'm
how
do the
can
Isaac Chodener afterwards.
this come to an end? Is there a deal that can be made?
I can only say this. Mr. Trump, you might remember he used a term when he said, I will finish the Russia-Ukraine war. Did it end? It still goes on. Similarly, he said, I will finish the war in Gaza. Did it end? No. That means once we start analyzing the issue, there are prices to pay. And when we look at the hostage exchange, that was done. It goes on.
Do you see Hamas as a terrorist organization?
About 20 years ago.
I hate that Erdogan is the only motherfucker saying this, bro. It's just like, it's so annoying. Where is the fucking courage from Western leaders, man? Where is the courage? What a shame. What a shame that the only person who is saying the fucking truth from Western aligned leadership is from the watermelon salesman himself.
When I traveled to the United States, they asked me this question again, and I said this back then. I don't see Hamas as a terrorist organization. On the contrary, I see it as a resistance group. And Hamas doesn't have weapons or a serious capability. And now they are using what they have to try to defend themselves and trying to protect themselves in this resistance movement. That's what they are as an organization.
What makes him a watermelon salesman? That's what he used to do in his youth. Erdogan is on top of the table. He's transcended the table itself. He is now the centerpiece of the table. No, if he talks like this too much, then Trump is going to kick him out of the table because he is a very petty man. Is he speaking Turkish as a flex? He probably has better English than anyone at Fox News. No. Erdogan literally cannot speak a lick of English. That's not even a joke. He just straight up. No. 1 minute. 1 minute. That was the famous. That's the maximum amount of English he's ever spoken. 1 minute. No, that motherfucker cannot speak English at all, bro. Not even a little bit. Trump'ın oğluyla ne görüştü geçen hafta? İsrail'le ticareti babam mı kesiyor? İsrail protestocuları neden içeride? Erdo sadece boş laf. Aynen. I had a friend from Turkey that I met here and I used to laugh at how he'd just call him Erdo shit because it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but I completely get it now. He insults your basic intelligence too much for you to come up with any real wordplay on his name. The LeBron of watermelon salesman ship. No. Erdogan responds to Netanyahu. We had the honor of serving Holy Jerusalem for 400 years. For centuries, we made Jerusalem a land of peace and tranquility with wisdom and tolerance. Netanyahu does not know this. Yeah, he's talking about when the Ottoman Empire ruled over historic Palestine. Yeah, Erdo shit. Yeah, he had a based speech. He had a based speech at the UN as well. I mean, I guess it's good, you know, in the absence of any sort of moral courage from karpuz satıcısı şeyi sadece yurt dışında popüler. Memri TV'den gelmiş. Amerikanlığın belli oluyor daha. TR mimin yok mu lan? Reis oğlum reis. But yeah, he doesn't speak English. Benim için first and foremost reis. Silivri soğuktur. That's it. This guy, the Turks in the chat are saying I don't have any good memes about Erdogan from Turkey. I'm doing American Western memes about Erdogan being a watermelon salesman because it came from Memri TV. How is Erdogan to the left of Bernie Sanders on Hamas? Come on, dude. I mean, he has a very different domestic considerations here. Abi Türkçeyi vallahi çok iyi konuşuyorsun lan. Oha amına koyayım. İlk hayatımın 18 senesi Türkiye'de yaşadım lan. Unuttuk biraz ama yani o kadar da değil. Yuh. Anyway, Turks are in the chat saying, wow, your Turkish is so good. Yeah, Erdo Goat at UN calling Gaza a genocide.
Bugün Gazze'de sadece
he said this is not a fight against terrorism. This is an occupation carried out by utilizing the October 7th incident. It is the deportation, exile, genocide, or more accurately, a policy of mass slaughter. How much of this is because Israel is threatening Turkey or Syria? I mean, that kind of stuff is just Israel trying to be the junior partner that is more relevant for America's grand design in the region over Turkey. Leftist Israelis have more heart and compassion for than the average U.S. politician. Oh, I saw this. These guys are fucking so awesome. Oh my God, these are the real HasanAbi heads in Israel. The true voice of anti-Zionism in Israel. This is like Hamas terörü demedi diye bir şey sanmasın lütfen Batılılar bunu. Abi ben bunlara kendilerine söylemeye çalışıyorum. İnanmıyorlar bana bir türlü. Yalancının önde gideni. Erdogan has worn so many different faces throughout the 30-year reign of Erdogan that like every Turkish person that hears any new thing that he says immediately goes, oh, here we go again. But for Americans, you hear that. For Americans, you hear that and you go, oh my God, I can't believe how bold he is. And it's like, he will say anything and everything if the crowd demands it. Erdogan and every single one of the Turkish motherfuckers on his coalition, and even those on the opposition side, in the aftermath of October 7, was shitting on Hamas and was shitting on Palestinians in general. They very quickly had to snap back to reality when they realized that but the population of Turks, a broad coalition, straight up Islamists down to like fucking communists, were like, are you kidding me? This is completely unacceptable. They even yelled at me as well in the beginning. Erdogan was not so bold on his statements initially. Yeah. Erdogan in the beginning of his career was, pro-LGBTG. He was pro-LGBTQ. He was seen as like a moderate voice, all this stuff. He has, throughout time, he's become whoever the fuck he needs to be. Türkiye'ye komünizm gelecekse onu da biz getiririz. Aynen. He's always been all over the place. And I've said this already as well. Like, he has greatly expanded the welfare structure as well in the country. However, he's only done so through the mechanism of the party so that he can have unlimited loyalty from those who actually vote for him. So he very, very interesting guy. Anyway, Avi Yemeni is IDF wife beater pig. Don't let that cunt back into Australia, says Chatters, the guy who's interviewing people. But that's not who we're talking about. What we're talking about is the true anti-Zionist voices in Israel, anti-Zionist Jews in Israel. Let's
and
hear
the
it.
Israeli government falls, right? And withdraw all the soldiers, Hamas remains in power. And
after 2 years...
Why do you need a negotiation? Can't Hamas just release the hostages?
Hamas said yes. When Hamas said yes to the negotiation, Netanyahu said no. Hamas said yes.
Do you believe Hamas?
Of course I believe Hamas.
Do you believe Hamas?
I believe Hamas more than I believe Netanyahu, yes.
My queen, my fucking queen. She said, I believe Hamas more than I believe Netanyahu. It's true. That's real opposition, not this fucking like Yoav Gallant or any number of different Yair Lapid, any number of different dipshits that act as though they are oppositional figures to Benjamin Netanyahu.
You can quote me. I believe Hamas more than I believe my prime minister. Yes, no doubt.
That is wild. All right, guys. I just think it's amazing, though, that you're in Tel Aviv and you're able to do that. And that's what I love about Israel. I think
yeah, you're able to do that in Tel Aviv. Yeah, Hamas would never let you do that. Hamas would never let you do that. Isn't it great that we get to do genocide and there's 8 total people that get to talk about genocide in the decent terms necessary? Isn't it great you can do that? Fucking rebel news, bro. Love an authentic Israeli accent, yeah. I love that he also still hits the when he's talking about Hamas. Hamas wouldn't let you do that. It's like, dude, you're fucking Australian. What do you mean, Hamas? That's not in your... That sound has never come out of your fucking mouth. Why don't you fucking condemn Hamas?
It's a real robust democracy.
Who beat his ass, by the way? What's happening here?
Free for the Jews. Free for the Jews. It's an apartheid state.
There are 20% Arabs here, and I've been meeting Arabs all day.
Cut it.
I've spoken to Israeli Arabs here, and yes, some identify as Palestinian, but when you pose the question to them, where would you rather live, under Israel or any other Arab state?
Where would you rather live? Here where you're not being genocided, or when you or in a country that Israel will inevitably genocide? Very difficult conundrum for many people here, okay?
They all want to stay. It's an unfair question because this is the best country in the Middle East.
No, it's an unfair question.
How can you say that we are the best country in the Middle East when we kill 70,000 people? That's genocide. How can we...
That's war. It's sad. It's horrible. It's war.
You don't even think it's sad. Why do you have to act as though you think it's sad? You think it's awesome, you fucking piece of shit.
No,
that's between two equals. No.
That's not true. When is war between two equals? Why does war defined by the two parties?
No, it's not.
When one side came in and really tried...
Yeah, we're doing a war against children. Nobody locks the fucking children, mate. Nobody locks them.
To commit genocide, the other side is defending its people.
Why is everything started at October 7th?
It didn't. In fact, it started in 1920, was probably the first terrorist attack, and that was against Jews.
And what happened? And that's all what you know. You don't know about what was done to the Palestinians. You don't know about what happened in 48. Do you know where all this?
I know what happened to the Yemeni people. My family came from Yemen. They were forced out by the Arabs.
You know where those
How far back do you want to go?
I want to go. I want to go and listen to the where did all those people in the Palestinian, the West, in the Gaza, where did they come from?
Depends. It's a mix of people. There's 700 displaced people. 700,000.
Mostly from Ashkelon, Ashdod. You know, all.
And where were my family refugees from? I'm from Australia, but my Yemeni family were refugees from other Arab lands. So you know, history is brutal. It's harsh, and we need to move forward. But I just think that comparing Israeli freedoms to the Palestinian, right? You said it's worse. You say it's worse. You say the Israeli government's worse than Hamas. You don't believe.
This guy is losing his mind, bro. I guess he's never encountered like a fucking real anti-Zionist, anti-fascist. Israel Uncut is so funny. Breaking: Turkish President Erdogan, the final declaration of the Gaza summit will be announced shortly. The meeting was productive and we are quite satisfied. Hopefully it'll be for the best. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's for the best. Okay? I never believe it. New Zealand got a major W when we blocked that dumbass entry here. Cutie Cinderella. Bye. I'm getting raptured. I asked God and he said you can't come, lol. You're literally fucking Mormon. You are literally Mormon. You are not getting raptured, little bro. Okay? You're going to a planet where you will be stuck with your first husband in forever. I'm literally in the sky right now. No, you're not. Your ass is not getting raptured. Your ass is not getting fucking raptured. Don't even lie about this. Get mogged. She is clothes. No. I told him I was afraid of flying. He said too bad because he wanted me so bad. Yeah, right. Wrong religion, Mormon. Wrong religion, Mormon Cinderella. Keep your windows closed. You ain't coming, sweaty. I mean, I know I'm not going. I know I'm not going. I was actually about to go on my way up. I quickly did some sins so I could stay behind. So I can enjoy the upcoming Taylor album. And you won't be able to. So, haha. That's right. Yeah, what do you say to that? October 3rd. Life of a Showgirl. You're cooked. Yeah, exactly. You're cooked. You have no statements. Taylor's coming up there? No. I don't know about that. We're gonna be down here and having a party. So have fun up there. All on your lonesome. She's closed already? Oh no. She's become closed. No. No, stay with him. So